Come on, that's what y'all want to do over here.
Try again.
But first, you don't succeed. Dust yourself off and try again. Discard. You could dust it off and try again.
Always.
Just start it. Actually, so like one of the things that I noticed with Billy Carson and Elizabeth is like I said, they always experience some form of technical difficulty,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not just them. It's technology. Period. Anybody that's trying to broadcast a message
With an intentional high level frequency.
Yep.
Apps showing just
Are you trying this one now?
Yep. Switching the devices.
Boom. Boom.
There we go.
apps show it just exactly how flat Earth shows it. That's us right there. And look at all the lands outside of Earth. Look at Asgard. Look at Atlantis, Lemuria. Like these places actually still do exist. Lands of mermaids. Like we are not alone by far. Like they want us to believe that we are the only ones on.
Well, you have your live going. I'm gonna start my phones over.
Okay. We can restart it.
Yeah. Your phone is about to die too. Yeah, for those that are joining us, we thank y'all. We about to so Quill, welcome to Quill, knowledge, wisdom, love, and laughter. Where we dive deep into high level conscious talk. Today we're going to be discussing quantum entanglement. Our devices are quantumly entangled right now, and they're going through some technical difficulties. So we thank y'all for your patience.
Interesting how the technology, we're talking about quantum entanglement as a definition. It's a bizarre, counterintuitive phenomenon that links two subatomic particles that are intimately linked with each other, even if separated by billions of light years of space. So if I'm talking about the edge of the universe is being affected by me communicating about it.
Yep, and one of my it was one of the videos that was on my IG as we are going through calibrating it. It was talking about the flat Earth and the worlds outside of the Americas as we know it. The Lemurias, the Atlantises, that a lot of people think were buried underneath water. Oh yeah.
Word.
So those that are tuning in, we thank y'all for y'all patience.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, 19 Keys is a hater, bro. Let's see. Come on, world. Oh yeah, we good.
Yeah?
Yes, we
Lit.
are good to go. Right there. We thank y'all for y'all patience. So you was just asleep, wasn't you? You was just knocked out. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Those that are tuning in now, like we're gonna quill knowledge, wisdom,
Love and laughter.
love, and laughter. High level conversations with AX and
Remo
369.
369 mindset.
Yeah, being able to discuss things of quantum entanglement. Uh, Quantum is something that we talk about all the time, like how your content has a quantum effect on the people, places, and things around you. Every moment we're vibrating into a different vibration and frequency based off of your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions.
Yeah, I think. Oh shit. Um, talking about quantum entanglement. We're talking about quantum entanglement in this first episode of Knowledge, Wisdom, Love, and Laughter on Instagram. Um, quantum entanglement in like a practical way is just that I have an effect on my reality,
Mm-hmm.
and it's also chaos theory. It's seeing how things that we talk about now have an effect on anything, whether it be in the past, present, or future, any place, any space or time. Um, and and it's how we manifest our realities. Quantum entanglement is how we manifest our reality. A really simple way to think about it is, if I'm thinking about getting a glass of water, then I'm going to visualize the feeling of drinking water
Mm-hmm.
and the act of grabbing a cup, going to the sink, and filling up the cup with water. The quantum entanglement starts when you start thinking about the desire to drink water, and then it entangles with the different atoms and molecules that are made up of the sink, and you start walking over there. You're manifesting your reality with it. Um, Quantum entanglement as something that is something that we share with the people, places, and things that are around us. We're quantumly entangled with the entire of existence of all of our consciousness, and the more space and energy that we share with something is how much we're quantumly entangled with it. So we are highly quantumly entangled with the blood relatives that we're born with.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
People that you work with. Like, so there's 1,440 minutes in a day, right? 86,400 seconds. The time that you're in physically, your physical body will always be in the now. King, long live King Leon. What's going on, bro? Northside
what's up,
shit.
Leon?
Uh, uh, Being able to actively influence your moments, your seconds, your minutes will influence them with what you're listening to.
Right.
Like when you first wake up, what do you do when you first wake up?
I have currently been working on getting more grounded and being more consistent with my waking up. As of this moment, the first thing I'm doing is feeding my baby, feeding our baby. So, pulling out the boob and them eating, which is part of the ritual. It's an act of interdependence. Something, um, peace and love, many blessings to you. Thank you. I've received and reciprocated, and that creates a quantum entanglement with the baby, and how that manifests is that they become expectant, right? um, and I love what you said about, and this is something that we've been continuously talking about. You've been manifesting in your life, of you've shared with me that you've been manifesting in your life is consistent rituals that keep you quantumly entangled with things that are high vibration. So for me right now, the things that I desire to manifest as my rituals is um, going outside and grounding. And when I wake up, immediately getting up, immediately, like when my eyes open, immediately setting myself on the ground, telling myself I love myself, I'm a conscious creator of my reality, putting these remembrances into my day immediately, so that when I'm in a position of going throughout the day, the intention of I'm a conscious creator of my reality goes out into everything that I do, and I remember it. Um, Drinking a glass of water and speaking intention into the water. Thank you, water, for cleansing my spirit, for giving me life, for being the lifeblood of all of creation.
Uh, Reverend Blank, thank you for that. Like a couple of the comments, you absolutely manifest your destiny, peace, power, and prosperous to you, Carbon Zoo. What's going on, homie? One of the things is I just got off an interview, right? So the Gregorian calendar has 365 days, 12 months, and in that, right? If, I'm just throw this out here. October is supposed to be the 10th month, right? But in that, octagon or oct means eight in Greek language. So the months really start in January. I mean, they really start in March. From that's when the year originally started. I know the Chinese calendar. Chinese have a different New Year, different from the American New Year, right? When is the Chinese New Year?
It's different each year because it's based on the lunar year. Actually, in China, in the lunar astrology or in the lunar New Year, or excuse me, in the lunar calendar, it's year like 4000, like 36.
And in the Philippines, not and was it the Philippines or it was it was another country. I think it was it's there like in 2014 or 2015. I don't think it was the Philippines. I think it was um, uh, Ethiopia. So it's just like time is relative to what your reality is entangled with. Those that people that are born in the Americas are born into a certain culture. Your culture sets the date for you. How realized or self-realized or self-aware the people, places, and thing around you allows you to establish some sort of your own self-time. Like I said, I asked this question: what's more, 60 minutes or an hour?
If we're talking strictly quantified, 60 minutes is more than 1 hour. 60 is more than one. They, as by definition, they've been equated to the same thing. But you've asked me this the first time you asked me that question. I was like, definitely 60 minutes, just simply because the question is more, right? Because time is super relative.
Big facts. So that's what this we woke up this morning like we got our electric pump for the baby so that now we can have milk ready. But I woke up this morning coming out of an amazing dream. And when you're in a dream state, the time is like it's all over the place. It's not running in moments or seconds and minutes, but like the most important time of the day when you first wake up is like that the first 5 or 10 minutes. That first 5 or 10 minutes, this thing called the reticular activating system is active. And in that time, that's like the in-between space between this reality and conscious reality, which means any and all things are possible. And today I woke up and I was going in, boom, 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 boom. He was like, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna go back to sleep. I think I'm gonna go back to sleep." But that's one of the rituals that we do is like just communicate our dreams, journal, write down certain things. And I know I went to sleep pulling in a lot of high level conversation from shout out to Forbidden Knowledge, Billy Carson and
What's up, Elizabeth?
Yeah,
yeah. Shout out to y'all for holding it down and really being really pushing the door open onto popularizing high consciousness. So shout out to Forbidden Knowledge and Elizabeth for that.
Hey, big up to DJ Cloud One.
Hey,
peace to those that are joining our lives now. Even with the live that we're starting right now.
Knowledge, wisdom, love, and laughter. Tuning in every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday we're going to be dropping knowledge. Wednesdays is our wisdom acknowledging Wednesday, because we're not chasing anything. When you start to, yeah, for real. Though.
I like the change to acknowledging.
Yeah, wisdom acknowledging Wednesdays, because when you're chasing, that means you're running from something outside of yourself. We talked about in the beginning, depending on where you were born in the continent determines your ideals on time and the relevance to you. I know the more I became self-realized, I had to change how I look at time. I had to focus my time. That's why I asked you that question, the 60 minutes or the hour, because we was talking the other day. It was like, they were like, yeah, my time, how much is your time worth? And I was like, yeah, mine's is like $600 an hour, right? That's how much 60 minutes is I get $600. They was like, nah, I get $300 a second. And I was like, well, what, you said a second? And to do that equates to about $1.1 million in 60 minutes.
And the reason why I said that, right? Because we can talk about self-realization, we can talk about quantum entanglement, we can talk about all of this high consciousness stuff all day, because knowledge of self is something that is inherent to within. And the intention behind the knowledge, I think, is the most important aspect of it. You can have high level knowledge of self, but if you're using it just to manifest a dope house and a dope job 9 to 5, like, no shade. I guess I just actively threw shade into
Yeah,
it, so
no,
I'm
shade that shit.
gonna. I find that the reason why I said $300 a second is because my goals and dreams are related to building out systems of governance that are centered in the liberation of the minds and the bodies of all beings. I like that ridiculous dream of like, why can't we all just get along? It's like, well, actually, I really do think that there are ways that we can create. I'm not the one who knows what they are, but I have faith in the fact that they can exist.
Mm-hmm.
And that faith, that absolute 100%, like, I know it's possible, just simply for the fact that I know it's possible, because anything is possible. We can manifest any reality that we want. Why the fuck not manifest a reality where we truly believe that our children and our children's children can live in a world where, yes, of course, there's conflict, but there's support systems that support conflict resolution in such a way that it creates multiple levels of solution and evolution for our legacies to continue.
And we're at a point in now where our time, like over the next few days, right? I brought up the whole ideal about October and being the 8th month versus the 10th month. On this in this equinox, right? This spring equinox, we're going to be going through what they call a Heaven's Gate, also known as the apocalypse. This apocalypse will unveil. That's all apocalypse means, to reveal. We're going to unveil some things on what is a self-realized, or what is a realized being. When I get to thinking energy and motion, everything that you want to manifest, right, it requires some form of contrast. Like, in order for us to get to where we are right now in this point in the Americas, or Abayella, or Turtle Island, America, we was talking about America, and then karma, and them doing bad business, not just from the 60s, that from the inception of America, it's been bad business. They've been focused on a lot of fear, a lot of pride, a lot of anger, a lot of desire. And these are things that vibrate in the third dimension. When I say third dimension, that's just it's a level of overstanding or understanding. Dimensions are states of mind. Like heaven and hell is a state of mind. The more you become self-empowered, you lean towards self-realization, and the more you get into courage and neutrality, the courage to face the opposite of conformity, right? Is courage, or the opposite of courage is conformity. So when you come into this world and you conform to their time structures, or you conform to chasing a 9 to 5, I got to pay my bills, I got to go to work because I got bills to pay. That's a way that our ancestors was taught. Like even how schools, our phones update themselves every few months, but our education system hasn't updated in over 50 or 60 years. Like, with this the same type of schooling and teaching that,
which is very intentional, right? It's very intentional. One of the first things I remember you said to me that really stood out, and you continue to say, is that God is protecting the children. And the desire of, and it makes sense, like all of these shadow governments that are shadow beings that are actively, we know that there's this, to be at the level of power that you've got to be at in order to hold on to the system of oppressions that are not just within the United States, but globally, right? Like there's an underbelly of all of this shit. And the school system, everything that it supports is quietly putting in this programming of conformity, putting in this program of here, let's not have creative thought. Let's not actually teach our youth how to think. Let's not actually teach our people how to critically think and to create and to evolve our senses of self and teach knowledge of sense of self. Because if people have a knowledge of self, then of course they're going to understand that this whole conversation was about quantum entanglement. We're all quantumly entangled with each other. It doesn't, if I'm doing good in my life, but I'm actively ignoring the fact that my neighbors are not, I'm still actively quantumly entangled with them. So, in terms of the spirit world, my spirit will come back reaping the karma of not having been in relationship with my neighbors, as in, like, a lot of people living in the suburbs, for example, right? Like, a lot of people living in the suburbs, they sacrifice their sense of knowing and their sense of responsibility. This is not all people in the suburbs, but a lot of people in the suburbs release their sense of knowing and accountability and responsibility to their neighbors because, oh, I live in my small community and what I do in this community doesn't have an effect on the rest of the city because this is my bubble and this is my world. And the quantum entanglement of everything, the more that you study something, the more that you learn somebody else's consciousness, i.e., reading a book written by somebody, the more that you, and always going back to the mission, the more that you quantumly entangle yourself, and quantum entanglement just means giving it your time and attention, your energy. So the more that you read something, the more that you listen to specific things, the more that you give your energy and attention to something, you quantumly entangle with it. So the more that you dedicate yourself to learning about those who have been striving forward and creating liberation, whether out of necessity or out of desire or both, the more that you read about political movements that have been successful or non-successful, whether the more you study strategy for
Art of War.
Yes, exactly. The more that you study liberation, the more you become quantumly entangled with it as a concept within your life, and the more you manifest liberation into your life.
And big ups to DJ Cloud One. He said the Prussian education system reinforced and established vertical power structures. Word.
Vertical power structures?
Where there's a hierarchy. Like there's like honestly the you go to school, and that's coming from a teacher. Shout out to the Ohm School out there in the Bay, in the San Francisco area. Being
What's
a
up,
what up,
TBA? What up,
PhD?
PhD?
Knowing that energy goes where your attention flows. Like whatever you give your attention to. Like right now, a lot of the narrative is being pushed on slavery. Like we came from Africa, we came from slavery. I know that my grandfather and my grandmother peoples were already here. And I know this because I have a knowledge of self. I decided to choose to shift my education. I graduated from high school barely because like when you the children that were born here, they give life, but they also come with a high vibrating sense of frequencies. Like even when I met Cloud One, right, and him and Mia on the bus, the children engage with me first. I'm tuned into my inner child.
And so, just real quick, for those of us who are just joining, we're talking about quantum entanglement and how it creates manifestations in our lives.
Yep. So because the world is speeding up right now, like time is going super fast. I know that since 2012 and the precession of the equinox mean that the earth is tilted a different way. So as it rotates in different parts of the galaxy. And talking about the education system and how there's an overhaul of what community look like. They said that it takes a village to raise a child, but who's raising our children if the villages are broken? I went to sleep last night. Before I went to sleep, I was listening to Billy Carson, and he was talking about quantum entanglement and how we are now have the technology to store millions of terabytes and petabytes into one drop of DNA. So it's just like if you are still focused on how our grandparents looked at storage, right? Somebody from 50 or 60 years ago doesn't really know what a computer system really looks like or what memory is. So when, like I said, these children, they come with advanced technology inside of them. They come with advanced information, and they come already being self-realized. But the first 7 years of their life, they don't have a conscious mind to accept or reject things. And so what happens is their environment plays a major role into what they eat, what languages they learn. Because like children can learn up to 5 or 6 different languages if they're spoken. Those languages are spoken around them. Our little one is right here sleeping, and we're talking quantum knowledge.
So they're gonna get and our little one. I like that little one. Our little elder. What's up? What's up? We're talking quantum entanglement and how it creates the manifestations in your life. And right now, we were just talking about how um, uh, what we speak and how we engage with our children is what gets programmed into them. That's a form of quantum entanglement. We were just talking about how with the baby, we've been talking quantum entanglement, we've been talking physics, we've been talking liberation, we've been talking
Nation building.
very intent nation building, indigenous sustainability and sovereignty. Um, that all of these thoughts get programmed into the child. Quantum entanglement is just the active attention being given to the atoms and molecules that exist. I'm made of atoms and molecules. You're made of atoms and molecules. And all of our atoms and molecules are actively connecting and building upon with each other. And that entanglement becomes part of our subconscious programming and our conscious programming as manifestations into our life. We continue to manifest based on our understandings of ourselves. And PhD said, my grandpa once said that when time speeds up, we're in the end of times and a new cycle is happening.
We are in the end of times. That's why I talked about the apocalypse. We're in the end of time as we knew it. We're in the end of time as we know it. The spring equinoxes, even on July 26th, that's the day out of time. That day, it's like time shifts in that moment. The past few years, the planets have been aligned so that we get to jump through those portals as they're in alignment. For those that are just joining us, I said hell is a state of mind. Things like victim abuse consciousness comes from having pride, anger, desire. Like in the book Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, talks about having a burning desire. It doesn't just say having desires. A burning desire is something that is true to you. Once you tune into your time clock within yourself, you can overcome the fears. The way that society is run right now, it's run by fear and grief and apathy and guilt and shame. These are the hells of this earth. These are the hells of the third dimension. And then as we start to elevate and empower ourselves, just like they did in the 60s, just like we went through in the early 2000s, there's empowerment movements. And the awesome thing about time, it repeats itself.
Mm-hmm. And that's we can see that in cycles, right? The seasons, we see that in plants coming back around, and that's how our trauma works as well. This is how time works. Time is cyclical. It's not linear. It's not linear like this. It moves like this. Up and down. Oh, up and down like this.
Spiral.
It's a spiral.
It's a spiral.
It's a movement. It's a cycle. And how much you allow yourself to move into a new paradigm, which again, talking quantum entanglement, how much you allow yourself to put space, energy, and time into new ways of thinking, new actions. People like me for who I am. Yes. Yes. And they dislike me too. And that's great
That's perfectly fine.
because I love me. I love me.
I love me some me.
I love me.
I love me some me.
How much we dedicate our attention and our time and our energy into new levels of ourselves, into the things that we desire to align with those burning desires that are within ourselves, determines how these cycles and these patterns change.
Yes. And you ever notice been at a job that you couldn't stand, and it seems like the time slows down because you counted every moment, or if you're in school and you got a teacher or a class or a subject that you're not really tuned into, the time slows down. And the reason being is because of everything vibrates. Tesla said, if you want to understand the universe, understand frequencies, energies, and vibrations. And in order for this physical world to be where it's at, it's a set of vibrations that it has to go through. And we're now in a time of self. Like knowledge of self is everything. So you start to empower yourself with your inner light. And as you raise up out of the hell state, you go into what they call purgatory, or the in-between stages. The fourth dimension is the dimension of time, space, and everything. I talked about the apocalypse and the spring equinox, and I share these terminologies because as a shaman, we deliver an experience. We deliver our experiences of knowledge, which is wisdom. And in that, I started saying I love myself, and I trust myself, and I honor myself. and the willingness and neutrality and the courage it takes to go against the status quo, especially for instance, people like Ye. Shout out to Ye for
Shout out to Ye. What's up, Ye?
completely turning his back on the status quo and really going all in with his inner self. The thing about it though is that Ye he has a ton of trauma, because we were fed certain things growing up. Fed certain things in form of us being former slaves, growing up in a lot of violence, growing up in any inner city that was systematically set up for you to really not love yourself. It was set up for you to want to be something other than yourself. Getting back to the self-empowerment leads to paradise being the fifth dimension being the dimension of love. In order to get there, you have to clear your lower bodies. You have to go through a pruning stages, like certain trees and plants. In order for it to grow, you got to cut away some of the old programming and the old paradigms, and that's the stage we're in. And we change it by our habits. Your paradigms are a multitude of habits.
You read my mind. I was just quantum entanglement. We're highly quantumly entangled. We're tied together in business and with our family, building out babies, not just with our actual child, but each business is a child, right? It deserves time and attention that's similar to a child. Quantum entanglement has the effect of being able to have a certain level of telepathy with those that you're close with. You can kind of almost read people's minds if you're open to somebody else's channel. But you brought up, how do you change your paradigm? And I was just watching a video. Shout out to Bob Proctor. Bob Proctor. He's this old white guy who he didn't have a college education. He barely had a high school education. He described himself as someone described him as like, you're a miserable version of yourself, and he was like, that was a nice way of describing it at the time. But he got himself to a point where he read Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, and he just reprogrammed his mindset. Changing your paradigm requires changing your habits that are way outside of the way that you would normally do or act or think. And your program, the 99 moment program through 369 Mindset Consulting, which I've been going through, it offers you options on how to. There's a large variety of options through a spiritual boot camp where you can take cold showers, for example, put your feet to the ground, and hug trees, journal, sounding and grounding. So there's different sounds of the multiverse, like yam or om. Om is the original sound of existence. It's the first sound. Absolutely.
Let's do a deep breath in. Ocean breath it out. Deep breath in. Release the om.
That's harmony, bro.
Hey, that felt good. That
nice.
had my head tingling. And you were saying that Om is the original sound of existence?
Om is the original sound of existence. I was watching on Gaia Consulting, or on Gaia. Shout out to Terry. What's up, Terry? Gaia World Consulting. But I was thinking of Gaia, the broadcasting,
the streaming station.
Service. Yeah. Talking about how Om, many ancient cultures had discovered that the sound Om was the original sound of the universe. And when you say the sound Om with the fullness of your body, even if you get into practice of it, sometimes it feels strange to say sounds. I remember when you first told me to utilize the sound of the throat chakra to open up the throat chakra, which is hum. I was like, what the fuck? This makes me feel uncomfortable. I've never done this before, but I'm going to do it because I just have a feeling that I should listen to this individual and try it, and so I did it. It does feel strange to have these alternative ideas or alternative practices as basically self-therapy. There's everything that we have within us. Everything is within us for us to be able to heal ourselves. It's just how much do we allow ourselves to practice it, and tying it back to quantum entanglement. How much do you allow your atoms and molecules to entangle with certain vibrations to get yourself to a different level?
And atoms and molecules, they vibrate based off the sounds. Thoughts give off a sound. Like I said, emotions give off a frequency or vibration or a sound. We talked, those that are just joining us, we talked about hell being a state of mind, and how the the majority of the world right now is in a forced hell. It's in a forced state of hell.
That's the
where
programming.
that programming is forced around scarcity mindset, war, competition, and since the procession of the equinox in 2012, when the world was supposed to end, and just like what PhD said, how his grandfather said that once time speeds up, it's going to be the end of the world. We're now in a time of inner wisdom, inner love, oneness, like self-love, oneness, and non-duality. Knowing that self-realization, know that I am you and you are me.
And that reflects our unity.
I see you and me reflecting unity. You and I, TY. That's what Queen said. And once we start moving in that, we start to see the presence of the I am presence, and it gets us into a place of heaven. Like, I don't, some religions, they say that you have to do these certain tasks in order to get to heaven. And that's because they give you rituals. A religion is just a set of rituals to follow.
Right, because ultimately, right, it's like one of the things that I knew always when I was a child, and it's gotten me to the point where I'm at now, which is where I'm blessed and fulfilled in my purpose, and I'm surrounded by amazing beings who have such deep, authentic heart connection to themselves and to the people in their community around them. One of the things that I've always just known was that I am at the center of my universe. There is nobody else who is in control of me. There's other people that can influence me if I allow them to. But I am at the center of my universe. And that simple idea is at the root of what self-realization is. Because from that idea, I started to expand into realizing it's like, well, if I'm at the center of my universe, that means that everything that I do has an effect on the world around me. And the more knowledge of self that one starts to seek or receive is the level of self-love that you're willing to have. If I really truly believe that I can manifest a life where I'm thriving, then it's going to come. Simple, plain matter of fact. How quickly it comes is determined on how quickly I can change my habits and patterns in order to align with the life that I desire. And that is divine inspired action.
I love what you just said. We don't get what we want from this world. We get what we vibrate are. We get what we are. That's why this is Wisdom Allowing Wednesdays. Like, we allow the certain vibrations and sounds. Before we had the baby, we started another podcast called Self Love Tyrants, and we were manifesting the funds, the assets, and resources. I've made hundreds of Facebook Live videos, thousands of Instagram posts and videos, and in me doing that, talking about Ye, right? Ye went on a campaign last year around he did it right around the political season. A lot of people may not see what Ye is doing, but Ye is creating his own nation. Like, and like, just like we have the United Nations, which is a group of nations that are in the same, they agree to the same terms and rituals, right, of the US. Ye is getting ready to run for presidency. And one of my big, hairy, audacious goals was being a part of his presidential team, not to push politics, but to push spirituality in the form of translating somebody that has a lot of trauma. Because once we have a lot of trauma, we have to release it. And for the past 7 years, that's one of the things that I've been doing. And it's so interesting that we're being able to say this now. This is the things that I wanted to say on the podcast with Naisha a few hours ago, that in order to really manifest the world you want, you have to release all the shit that's not you. It's like a major purging. People take medicines like ayahuasca, they take mushrooms, they take acid to go through that purging process.
Or you go to safe spaces where, and the thing is that a lot of times people do this through trauma bonding, right? It's like anytime anyone ever says like, oh man, I had such a bad day, like da 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 da, and then they just keep going, but they don't actually provide any other thing. That's one way that people purge it. Um,
That's what
and
the homie did earlier after court. He purged through Instagram Live.
and the reason why people trauma bond is because we're not taught methods of being able to, like, it is important to release and communicate authentic experiences. Like if I'm in a position where someone has traumatized me, or I've experienced some kind of violence or something that has created that triggers an emotional response within me, because everything is just a vibration, right? So it engages with the vibration of anger or pain or sadness. We're not given the tools to be able to turn that into something else, because all of our experiences are valid and necessary for our growth. You need a certain amount of chaos to elevate to another level. The knowledge comes from, okay, so now I know that chaos is a part of it. I know that pain is a way for me to manifest to the next level. So here's my pain, and here's also the bridge that I'm building to turning this pain into something beautiful. And here's also something, so now that I've given you my pain with a creative thing attached to it, here's a solution so that you don't have to hold my pain for me. I'm giving you a story and a creation and something that actually provides an opportunity for empowerment, rather than just here's my blah 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 blah.
Big facts. And we actually we got about 4 more minutes before we ended.
Anyone who can't keep up with me.
I'm letting go of anyone who can't keep up.
With love,
we're gonna do an AI one. We're gonna do an AI one. But I just wanted to reiterate to those that are tuning in, before we do an outward meditation and sound therapy, that we're now in a time where self-realization is the biggest solution. Knowing that chaos and knowing that contrast is there for manifestations. I talk about magic and things of that nature. All those that I'm looking for my 12. I look for 12 people that are looking to love themselves more, but also they can have their own opinion that can come into contrast with mine. 12 individuals that can disagree with me. What up, Moon? Peace and blessings to you. And in that, those 12, we hold those safe spaces, and we can elevate the trauma through tantric or turn up rituals, that we can start living our truth. And by living your truth in these now times, you'll start to attract more opportunities. You'll start to like heal the dense ass energies
so
around
that
your
you
family.
can live your dreams, and you can be in the position where you're looking at your life and like, I do feel empowered in my beliefs, and I do feel empowered in living my dreams, and I do feel, and I don't, and I'm not attached, I'm detached from what someone has told me that I need to believe in order to feel happy, and I'm attached to how I feel successful within myself. Because ultimately, what we're manifesting is, like, I know what I'm manifesting is to be liberated and thriving within myself. And that is different for every single person. But I know for me, that means that I utilize my skills and my sense and my own self, my practices of self love to build bridges between communities so that we can elevate and get to the next levels of larger levels of higher consciousness for the collective consciousness. Manifesting the 12, manifesting the people who can support us and sustain us in those missions is really important, because um, quantum entanglement,
Entanglements.
if we quantumly entangle ourselves with those who are not only desiring to do that, but are actively putting in the time, energy, and effort, and quantumly entangling into the mission, we're all going to come together and start building something. Shout out to Speak Freely Media Collective. Shout out to Reimagining Solidarity. Shout out to 369 Mindset Consulting. Shout out to Mindset Detox TV. Shout out to our nation. Shout out to those who have tuned in, and shout out to those who have heard us and can hear what we're saying.
Big ups to the family and friends. Family is frequency. Big up to the Grill Bros 804, or 804 Grill Bros, the homie that when she gives an update to the West Coast family, let us know that we're staying with a friend and a family that is that opened up their space. And even when I came in, like pride pride is the devil, and pride vibrates at a low frequency, which is hell. Pride is right above anger and desire. They opened up their space and was like, "Yo, bro, you about to have this baby? You good, man? I want you to make sure that you're good." But it took me some time to accept that, and because, like I said, the past few years we've been fully following spirit. And I'm gonna run. I know I ran up the victim abuse and the consciousness, and then I talked a little bit about the self empowerment. But I'm gonna just spew off these words that I want y'all to do your own research on. Like if anything resonated with you, you do your own research on it. And if you're looking to partner with us as we move forward throughout the galaxies and reveal the apocalypse, send us a message, share this, comment, like it, share what you liked about it. Full consciousness vibrates at 1,000 hertz per second type thing. So the more you conscious, the quicker things manifest and pop up into your world. Um, Super casual truth, supra casual truth. The more you, I was like, what is that on your nose? It's sort of a little white thing. I was like, okay. And then being able to have places where you could talk about your trauma, and then also offer some tantric experiences so that you can speak your truth. Divine grace and love union. Um, Surrounding yourself with more people that love themselves. The great void, and the great void is going into. When we was talking to Aubrey yesterday, she was like, "What does black mean?" And that's the void. That's the dark space that you go into.
The womb.
The womb space that you come out as a butterfly. The caterpillar goes in and it decrystallizes and comes out as a butterfly. Uh, the seven awareness vibrates at 700 frequencies. Non-duality, having presence, having oneness, inner love, and inner wisdom. If any of those things resonated with you, right? If any of those things resonated with you and you're looking to move forward with a tribe, like raise your vibe, attract your tribe. Calibrate your vibe, attract your tribe. Because it's not just about positive or negative, it's about the complete algorithm of positive, negative, neutral, and how you are actively moving through it. What's going on, Moon? We appreciate y'all. Y'all feel like home. That makes a lot. That makes, hey, I appreciate that. Um, so E, if you can lead us out with some breath works and affirmations, I'll end this with the prayer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 40 minutes went by quick.
And I'm proud of us. We kept it pretty tight on quantum entanglement.
We did.
Ashe.
Boom.
So with our breath work, I'm actually gonna straighten my body a little bit. I know you got the baby, so. Well, being able to do breath work and have your back straight, you can inhale more breath. As we inhale, just inhale and exhale. Let it all out with an ocean breath. Inhale. Exhale with an ocean breath. On this last inhale, imagine inhaling the sun and exhaling stardust. This last breath, we're going to inhale and we're going to release the sound yam. The yam sound is connected to the heart space, to the heart chakra, which is green. So as we inhale, just imagine my favorite color of green, whatever your color of green that you desire to imagine. Whenever I think of the color green, my favorite color of green is the color of when you look at leaves and the sun shining through the leaves, that like glowing, that beautiful glowing green. That's what I imagine the heart space to be. And whatever color green that you imagine, just imagine that as you inhale. And as we exhale, we release the yam. Yam. Feel free to repeat after me if you so desire. I love myself.
I love myself.
I trust myself.
I trust myself.
I am a divine, conscious creator of my reality.
I am a divine, conscious creator of my reality.
I can do anything.
I can do anything.
I dedicate my life to thriving.
I dedicate my life to thriving.
I know it's possible.
I know it's possible.
I trust myself.
I trust myself.
I value myself.
I value myself.
I honor myself.
I honor myself.
And I respect myself.
And I respect myself. I said, oh yeah, who love you. Ashe, Ashe. Oh yeah, oh Shuna. Making a way. Oh yeah, Yemiya. And Auntie Renee. I said, we love you today because the Father, Mother, Son, who art in heaven, hallowed be your name. You open 24/7. You give us this brain. You give us this heart to love. And may we be well. May we be peace-filled. May we be filled with happy honor and healthiness. May we live with love, loyalties, and laughter. May our loved ones and friends be peace-filled. May they be healthy. May they be happy and honorable. May they live with love, loyalties, and laughter.
With knowledge, wisdom, love, and laughter.
and those that trespasses, and may our trespasses, may they be peaceful, way over there.
All the way.
And may they be happy and healthy, way over there.
With love.
And may they be healthy, happy, and honorable. May they live with loyalty and laughter and love.
Thank you all for tuning in to Knowledge, Wisdom, Love,
and understanding.
Knowledge, Wisdom, and Understanding.
Oh no,
Love and laughter. Today we talked about quantum entanglement, how it relates to our manifestations, always in relationship to the mission, which is building out solutions for creating a liberated life of thriving for our legacies of the future that are specific to our hopes and our dreams. So we're grateful, we love y'all, and thank you for making space for us and our nations.
Peace. Baby woke up right at the end.
And blessing.
Right at the end.
Peace, y'all.
Great one.